Let me guess, you sleep 7 or 8 hours a night, but you still wake up feeling like you got hit by a truck? Your doctor says everything looks normal, your labs are fine, but you're still dragging through the day, chugging coffee, and wondering if it's just aging. Spoiler alert, it's probably not. And if you snore or wake up tired, fall asleep while watching Netflix on the couch every night, you might just need a sleep study. This video could literally change your life, or at least help you stop waking up exhausted. So let's figure this out together. Hey, I'm Brandon from Parkway Sleep, and we help people all across North Carolina finally get the answers they need about their sleep without the long wait lists or overnight hospital stays. Sleep issues can sneak up on you. They don't always come with loud warning signs. Sometimes they show up as brain fog, low energy, or mood swings that make you feel like someone swapped out your personality. Today, I'm breaking down the 7 sneaky signs you might need a sleep study, what actually happens during a sleep test, and why ignoring it could cost you more than just a good night's sleep. All right, can we get real for a second? Most adults think being tired is just part of the job description for being a human. They say things like, I'm just busy. I've got kids. Well, it's probably just stress. But here's the thing. If your brain and body were getting real restorative sleep, you'd still feel like a human in the morning. You wouldn't need 3 alarms and 2 cups of coffee just to remember what day it is. Sleep issues, they don't always look like insomnia or pulling all-nighters. Sometimes they're silent, stealing your energy, focus, and health one night at a time. And that's why a sleep study could be a total game changer. All right, let's go through the 7 signs your body may be trying to tell you something, starting with the most obvious and ending with the ones that people miss for years. If you recognize yourself in even 1 or 2 of these, a sleep study could be giving you the answers you're looking for. All right, let's start off with the classic, snoring. But I'm not talking about the occasional light snore after pizza and beer. I mean loud, chronic snoring that could shake the walls. And here's the real kicker. Snoring by itself isn't always dangerous, but if it's paired with choking, gasping, and pauses in breathing, that's a major red flag for obstructive sleep apnea. This happens when your airway actually collapses during sleep, cutting off your airflow, and your brain jolts awake just long enough to start breathing again. Most people don't even remember it, but it can happen dozens or even hundreds of times a night. So if your partner says you snore like a lawnmower or you're sleeping in the guest room, don't ignore it. That noise might be the sound of your brain fighting to survive the night. All right, you go to bed a decent hour, you avoid screens, you get your full 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and you still wake up feeling like you were hit by a truck. Sound familiar? This is one of the most overlooked signs of a sleep disorder. We tend to associate tiredness with lack of sleep, but the real problem might just be poor quality sleep. If your brain never enters the deep stages of non-REM and REM sleep, you're not getting restored. You're just horizontal. People with sleep apnea often never hit those deep stages because their body keeps waking up, even if they don't remember it. So if you're getting the hours you need, but you're waking up foggy, sluggish, or dreading the day, your body may be just going through the motions of sleep, but missing the part that actually matters. All right, this one's big and scary. If you find yourself nodding off during meetings, watching TV, or worse, while driving, that's a sign your brain's so exhausted, it's actually overriding your willpower. These are called microsleeps. They're tiny, involuntary lapses in consciousness that can last a few seconds. You might not even realize it's happening. It's your brain saying, I can't keep doing this, and literally checking out. People with untreated sleep apnea or other sleep disorders are at a much higher risk of accidents, work errors, or even falling asleep at the wheel. So if you've ever blinked and realized you missed part of the conversation, or you found yourself waking up mid-scroll, that's not normal. That's sleep debt catching up with you. Waking up with a pounding head or your mouth feeling like sandpaper, that might be more than dehydration. Headaches in the morning, they can be a sign that your brain isn't getting enough oxygen overnight, often due to repeated breathing interruptions. A dry mouth can be another clue. If you're breathing through your mouth all night because your airway is blocked, it can dry out your saliva and even contribute to sore throats or even dental issues. When you combine the two and you've got a pretty loud message from your body saying, hey, something's off while you're asleep. If mornings feel worse than evenings, it might be time to get evaluated. All right, this one's for all the folks out there doing everything right. You're eating healthy, you're exercising, you're taking your medications, but your blood pressure is still stubbornly high. The missing link might just be sleep. When your body goes into deep sleep, your blood pressure is supposed to drop. It's one of the ways your heart rests and recovers. But with sleep apnea, your oxygen drops repeatedly. Your brain senses danger and kicks your nervous system into high gear. It's like your body is fighting for its life all night long. That constant state of stress keeps your blood pressure elevated, even while you're sleeping. And many people find that once their sleep apnea is treated, boom, their blood pressure finally improves. Do you ever feel like you're not quite yourself anymore? You're snappier with your partner, you're more anxious at work, you cry over dumb things or laugh at weird things? You start to wonder, am I just broken? Nope, you might just be sleep deprived. Poor sleep messes with your brain's chemistry, especially the parts that regulate your mood, memory, and emotional control. It's harder to concentrate, you're more reactive, you feel overwhelmed and undermotivated. Does it sound familiar? Many people with undiagnosed sleep disorders are misdiagnosed with depression or anxiety. Or if they have those conditions, but treating their sleep dramatically improves those symptoms. You don't have to feel this way forever, but you do have to start with your sleep. Okay, this is a big one. If anyone has a partner, a roommate, even your kid has ever told you, you stop breathing in your sleep or you gasp like you were drowning, that is a giant blinking neon sign that something serious is going on. This is a classic hallmark of obstructive sleep apnea, and it's no joke. We've seen people with oxygen levels that drop into the 70s or lower at night. That's like living at the top of Mount Everest every single night. Your brain can't get the oxygen it needs, your heart is under constant strain, and your risk of heart attacks and strokes goes way up. So if someone tells you this, don't brush it off. Call us yesterday. All right, now let's talk about one of the most overlooked groups when it comes to sleep apnea, and that's people who don't snore, specifically women. See, we've been taught to think that sleep apnea is for middle-aged men who snores like a buzzsaw. That's a stereotype. But the reality is, sleep apnea doesn't care about your gender or whether you snore. So what does it look like? When it's not the classic case, for most people, especially women, it shows up very differently. You have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, which is often mistaken for insomnia. Frequent bathroom trips at night, and you're up every few hours, but not sure why. You have exhaustion that feels like burnout, and you're not just tired, but you're emotionally drained. You wake up with a racing heart or a surge of anxiety for no real reason. Maybe you even have morning nausea or mood swings that hit you before breakfast. And here's the wild part. A lot of these patients are told it's hormones or anxiety or aging or stress, and they're just dismissed. That's why women are underdiagnosed by up to 90% when it comes to sleep apnea. Studies have shown women are less likely to be referred for a sleep study, even when they're reporting issues. Some are even misdiagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome or depression for years before anyone even bothers to check their sleep. In men who don't snore, it's the same story. They're often brushed off because they don't fit the textbook image. But the truth is, you don't have to snore to have a sleep disorder. You don't even need to stop breathing in a dramatic way. Some people with upper respiratory resistance syndrome, our subtler form of sleep disordered breathing, experience dozens of tiny arousals per night that fragment sleep without fully waking up. That can still leave you exhausted, irritable, and depleted. So if you've been told you're fine, but your body says otherwise, listen to your body always. Because whether it's loud and obnoxious or subtle and silent, a broken sleep system affects everything. Your energy, your memory, your relationships, your heart. You don't need to snore to need a sleep study. You just need to know that something is off and you want real answers. And if that's you, let's get you evaluated. All right, here's what most people don't realize, and honestly, it's where I wish more doctors would connect the dots. Untreated sleep apnea isn't just about snoring. It's not just about feeling tired. It's not even just about bad sleep. It's about what happens to your body quietly, relentlessly, every night that you don't get enough oxygen. Let me walk you through it. When your airway collapses during your sleep, which is what happens during sleep apnea, your brain suddenly senses a drop in oxygen, and it panics. It jerks you out of a deep sleep to reopen the airway, pumping the adrenaline through your system like you're running from a bear. And this can happen 30, 50, 100 plus times per hour. You're not just tired, you're in survival mode every single night. And over time, that's a massive toll. It can lead to stroke and heart disease. Sleep apnea causes spikes in blood pressure, heart rate, and inflammation, which are three of the biggest risks for heart attacks and strokes. In fact, one study showed that people with moderate to severe sleep apnea who don't treat it are nearly twice as likely to die from heart disease. Not a little more likely, twice. You have type 2 diabetes and metabolic issues. Poor sleep messes with your body's ability to regulate insulin and blood sugar. People with untreated sleep apnea are far more likely to develop type 2 diabetes, even if they eat well and exercise. You can have memory loss and Alzheimer's risk. When your brain doesn't get deep restorative sleep, it doesn't get a chance to clear out amyloid beta, the protein linked to Alzheimer's. There's growing evidence that sleep apnea may actually accelerate the decline and memory loss of dementia. And we already talked about this, car accidents from microsleep. Here's one thing that hits close to home for a lot of people, microsleeps. And that's the moment where you blink too long at a red light or miss the last sentence of a podcast or drift off a little too far over the center line. That's your brain shutting down even when your eyes are open. Sleep apnea increases the risk of a car accident up to 5 times. Not because you're being reckless, because your brain is simply out of gas. It's not just about your health, it's about life. This stuff doesn't just affect your organs. It affects your personality, your relationships, your ability to enjoy life. You snap at your kids. You don't feel present with your partner. You struggle at work with focus. You start to lose confidence in yourself because you're always one step behind your own life. And the worst part, you might not even realize it's a sleep that's causing the problem. So yeah, it isn't just about snoring or sleeping poorly. This is about long-term health, your brain, your family, and your future. And that's why getting a sleep study and getting answers could be one of the most important things you could ever do for yourself. All right, if you're still here and you're still watching and you're still nodding along, chances are this video hit close to home. And first of all, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not lazy, you're not weak, you're not imagining things. You're just tired, and you deserve to know why. So here's what you can do right now to get the answers. Number 1, you can take our free online sleep quiz. You just go to parkwaysleep.com, go to the About Us tab, and click the self-sleep evaluation. It takes you to a short quiz. It'll take probably less than 60 seconds. There's no email required, and it'll tell you whether a sleep study might make sense based on your symptoms. It's quick, it's private, and it's a great first step. 2, you can book a virtual sleep consultation. We offer telehealth appointments across all of North Carolina, and in most cases, we can see you within just a few weeks. You don't have to wait 6 months. You don't have to drive 2 hours. You don't even have to put on pants. I mean, I recommend you do, but technically you don't have to. In that visit, we'll listen to your story, we'll walk you through the symptoms, and we'll see if a sleep study makes sense for you. We can even ship you a home sleep test right to your house. If you're not in North Carolina, ask your doctor. You can still take this seriously. Talk to your primary care doctor or a local sleep specialist. You got to advocate for yourself. Tell them what you've noticed. Push for a home sleep test at least. And don't let anyone brush you off. Well, you're just tired, because you know your body better than anyone. And listen, I know it's easy to put it off. You're busy, you've got work, kids, life. And when you're always tired, the last thing you want to do is book another appointment. But here's the truth. If you're waking up exhausted, if you're moody and foggy and forgetful, if your sleep feels broken and you don't feel like yourself anymore, you owe it to yourself and your future self to take this seriously. Don't wait for it to get worse. Don't wait until you get into that car accident or diagnosed with something preventable or burned out beyond recognition. Start now. Take the quiz. Book the call. Reclaim your energy. You deserve to feel better again. Thanks for watching. If this helped you, give it a like so more people can find it, and hit subscribe. We drop new videos every week to help you sleep better, live better, and finally stop guessing. Drop your sleep questions in the comments, and if you've done a sleep study, share what that experience was like for you. It might just help someone else to take the next step. Until next time, I'm Brandon from Parkway Sleep. Stay rested, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next one.